Aya Wilson's visible frustration during Team USA scrimmage didn't just spark conversation, it set off a firestorm that consumed the entire basketball world. Cameras captured the towel toss, the pacing, the heated exchange with staff, and within minutes the moment was reframed as a referendum on the rise of Caitlin Clark. A normal internal rotation change became a national storyline, fuel for debate shows, fan wars, and viral threads arguing about jealousy, favoritism, and whether the culture inside Team USA is starting to crack. The moment wasn't huge on its own, but the world watching transformed it into something far larger. The second Clark checked into the scrimmage, viewership surged by over 40%, instantly shifting the tone of the broadcast. What was meant to be a quiet evaluation session suddenly became a highly monitored event where every substitution, every lineup, every facial expression carried meaning. And that's exactly when Wilson's minutes were cut, according to reports, partly due to a minor practice absence, partly due to coaches wanting to test new lineups featuring Clark. Normally, this is routine. Team USA adjusts veteran minutes all the time before major tournaments. But this time the cameras were everywhere, and the internet was waiting for content. When Wilson reacted, social media framed it instantly: Aya Wilson is mad at Caitlin Clark. Clips spread before practice even ended. Clark's gravitational pull over the sport fueled the narrative. Networks, sponsors, and fans all orbit her rise right now, and that amplifies every moment she's connected to. Wilson's frustration became headline fuel not because she meant it that way, but because anything involving Clark becomes magnified by millions of eyes ready to choose sides. Wilson is not just a top player, she is the foundation of Team USA's identity. She's coming off a season averaging 22.8 points, 9.5 rebounds, elite defensive efficiency, and one of the most dominant playoff performances in modern WNBA history. Every minute she plays in Olympic prep is crucial. Rotations depend on her defensive communication. Lineups depend on her interior gravity. Game plans depend on her ability to punish mismatches. But Clark changes the calculus for the staff. Her deep shooting stretches defenses out to 28 to 30 feet, altering spacing and tempo. Her presence alone drives 3,200 extra ticket sales at exhibitions and pushes TV broadcasts to numbers that rival NBA programming. Coaches must balance tradition with modern visibility, something no previous Olympic cycle has dealt with. This is why Wilson's frustration matters now. The team is integrating a generational veteran and a generational draw at the same time. Chemistry is under pressure. Rotations are under pressure. And the fanbase is watching with expectations higher than any cycle in recent memory. To understand this moment, look backward. Taurasi, Catchings, Leslie, none of them had to share the spotlight with a rookie whose cultural influence exceeded their own. They competed in eras where visibility trailed performance. Clark plays in an era where visibility leads performance. Wilson resembles the lineage of dominant greats, a player whose excellence is undeniable, whose leadership is established, whose resume grows annually. Clark resembles something the sport has never seen, the crossover sensation whose audience arrives before the accolades. Even Sabrina Ionescu's hype in 2020 doesn't compare. Her arrival came during empty arenas and limited marketing. Clark's arrival comes in a fully built digital ecosystem in a nil-influenced world, and with millions of fans who followed her from Iowa. This dynamic resembles what happened when Naomi Osaka eclipsed veterans in tennis, not competitively, but culturally. Wilson's frustration reflects the tension of a player who built her greatness quietly, now sharing space with a phenomenon who arrived loudly. Neither is wrong, both represent different eras clashing at the perfect storm moment. The economic engine of women's basketball has shifted dramatically. Clark doubled WNBA TV ratings last season, pushed multiple games past 1.3 million viewers, and drove secondary ticket prices from $40 to over $200. Fanatics named her jersey the top seller in all women's sports, including soccer and tennis. Wilson, on the other hand, has been the league's rock. The two-time MVP, multiple champion, defensive anchor, she built the competitive standard the league now leans on. But timing is everything in sports business. Clark's rise aligns perfectly with social media virality, nil-driven marketing, and a younger demographic hungry for a star. This creates emotional complexity. Wilson has long fought for better pay, better travel, better respect for the league. Now the benefits of that fight are being swept up in Clark's slipstream. It's not jealousy, it's a reflection of a system where cultural currency has become as powerful as basketball performance. Media magnifies the divide further. Headlines focus on Clark even after losses. Highlight packages prioritize her even when Wilson posts historic stat lines. Fans who entered the sport through Clark often underestimate or ignore the dominance of the veterans who built the league. Wilson didn't just react to a sub, she reacted to the weight of a shifting ecosystem. Team USA now must walk a tightrope. Clark's shot-making warps defenses in ways the team has never had access to. Wilson's interior dominance punishes mismatches like no other player in the world. If the staff finds the balance, Team USA becomes unstoppable. But chemistry remains the question. If Wilson feels minimized, the team risks losing its emotional anchor. If Clark feels overprotected, resentment may quietly build among veterans. The coaching staff must engineer a cultural bridge, not just basketball rotations. The 2025 WNBA season will amplify everything. Fever vs Aces games will draw massive national audiences and be marketed as America's new rivalry, whether the players want it or not. Every interaction, handshake, stare, and timeout will be clipped and dissected. International competition magnifies this even more. Teams like Australia and Spain will study how Wilson and Clark share the floor. If Team USA's spacing improves, they become unbeatable. If connections falter, even small breakdowns could become Olympic vulnerabilities. Looking ahead to the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics, Clark will be in her prime, Wilson in her veteran leadership era. Whether they become icons together or symbols of division depends on how these early flashpoints are handled. The scrimmage incident was a lens, one that exposed the growing pains of a sport breaking into a new era. Wilson represents the excellence that built the league's legitimacy. Clark represents the attention that will carry it into global relevance. Neither is the villain. Both are essential. If Team USA embraces both identities, women's basketball could enter its greatest era yet: bigger crowds, bigger sponsors, bigger global reach. If tension continues unchecked, the sport risks fragmenting just as unprecedented numbers tune in. So the questions aren't just about a tantrum. They're about a crossroads. Can Team USA balance dominance and visibility? And what does this moment reveal about the future of women's basketball, and who will ultimately define it?